In this video demonstration, we will look at deploying and configuring Active Directory Federation services. We'll begin by installing the PKI infrastructure and preparing for Federation collaboration with ADFS version 2. We will then look at installing and configuring an Active Directory Federation service, configuring Active Directory Federation Service version 2 for internal users to access an internal claims-aware application. We will finish the exercise by configuring Federation services for internal users to access a partner's claim-aware application. So to begin, we're going to install the PKI infrastructure and prepare for federated collaboration with ADFS version 2. Now the first thing we need to do is install the Certification Authority and Certification Authority web enrollment. So we'll go through and add the new roles. We'll select Certificate Services. We'll select CA and CA Web Enrollment, add in the required role services. We'll click Next, select an enterprise route, create a new private key, and just accept the cryptography settings. Under the CA name, we'll type in Contoso CA. And accept the validity period. We'll accept the database, next on IIS, next on role services, and confirm the installation. Okay, we can see that that's done. Now what we want to do is turn off the CRIL distribution point and authority information access. So we'll go into Cert Server. We'll go into the properties of Contoso CA, and under extensions we're going to remove LDAP and File under CDP. We'll then include the CDP extensions of issued certificates. Configure AIA, remove LDAP and File, and under HTTP include the AIA extensions, hit OK and restart certificate services. From there we'll go into an MMC and add remove snapping. In the add remove snapping we'll click certificates for the computer account. We'll do it for the local computer and close the add remove snapping box. Now we'll expand certificates, personal, click on certificates, and from there make note of the certificates that we have. From here we'll go into a command prompt, run as administrator, and we're going to use the command certutil with the pulse switch. Okay, we can see that that's completed successfully. So back into our MMC, we'll hit a refresh and we can see that we've now got a new certificate. So we'll look at the new certificate. And we'll delete. From there we'll add remove snapping. We'll click on certificate templates. Okay, let's just clean up our window a little. We'll click on certificate templates. And we'll scroll down to web server. We'll go into the properties and under security we're going to add the main computers and hit OK. From there we'll give them the read and enroll permissions. We'll click on Add. We'll select the main controllers. And from there give them the read and enroll permissions. Again we'll click on Add. We'll click the network service. And again give it read and enroll permissions. We'll click on Add. We'll type in IIS_iUsers and give them read and enroll access. From there we'll minimize our certification authority. Okay, the next thing we want to do is we want to run the command netstop Active Directory certificate services. Okay, with that done, we'll start that service up again. And we can see that that's completed. Okay, with that done, let's go ahead and create a certificate in IIS. So we'll go into IIS. We'll click on NYC DC1 and we're going to scroll down and double click Server Certificates. From there we're going to create a domain certificate. Now in the common name we'll type in nycdc1.contoso.com. In the organisation we'll type in Contoso Pharmaceuticals. Under the organisational unit, we'll type in IT department. In the city, we'll type New York. In the state, we'll type in New York. And we'll leave the default country region as is. So we'll say next. And we'll select the Contoso CA under Online Certification Authority and give it a friendly name of nycdc1.contoso.com. Okay, with that done, let's go ahead and bind the certificate to a claims aware application for use with SSL. So under the default website, we'll click Bindings. We'll select HTTPS under Add Site Binding. And we'll select our NYC DC1 certificate. From there we'll hit Close. Back into our local certificates. Back into Personal Certificates. Let's export Contoso CA. Okay, now the reason we're doing this is so we can import it into Woodgrove Bank domain. So we'll type in the file name // export certs Contoso CA .cer. From there we hit next and finish to complete the wizard, and we can see the export was successful. With that done, we'll add remove snappings, and we're going to scroll down, and what we're looking for is the Group Policy Management Editor. If I click on Browse, what we're going to do is we're going to edit the default domain policy. Okay, now the reason we're doing this is we're going to import the certificates from the Woodgrove Bank domain to the local trusted root CA and make the certificate accessible to all computers in the domain. So under our computer configuration, we'll go under Windows Settings, Security Settings, Public Key Policies. Let's go ahead and add a new certificate. So we'll click Browse. And in there we'll connect up to the UANC path /MIA-DC1 $, export, and in there we want certs and the Woodgrove Bank CER. So from there we'll click open and next. We'll place it in the trusted root CA store and we'll finish. and we can see the import was successful. The last thing we'll do then is we'll do a GP update false and refresh the policy on that machine. Okay, in our Miami domain controller, let's go into an MMC, and from there we'll add remove snapping, and again we're scrolling down to the group policy management editor, and we're going to browse, select our default domain policy, and from there we're going to do the same process for the Contoso certificate. So under policies, we'll click on Windows Settings, Security Settings, Public Key Policies, Trusted Root, and Import. From there we'll click Browse on the file name, and we'll point to the UNC path /NYCDC1 /C$ /export /certs /Contoso ca.cer, and we'll just next through the wizard and finish. And we can see the import was successful. Like before, we'll go into a command prompt, and we'll run that as an administrator, and we'll type in the command gp update /false, and that will go ahead and refresh the policy. In our second main exercise, we'll go ahead and install and configure ADFS. So we'll go into the setup files and run adfs setup.exe. From there we'll click Next, accept the end user license agreement, select to create a federation server, and look at installing the prerequisite software. So we'll click Next, and what this will do is it will go through and install all of the prerequisites and then go ahead and install the actual ADFS system. So we can see that that's completed successfully. We're going to choose to start the snapping when the wizard closes. So from there, ADFS version 2 launches, and we're going to click on the configuration wizard. We're going to create a new federation service, a standalone federation server. Now this isn't ideal for business, but perfect for a test environment. We'll look at the SSL certificate and the port and the federation service name. Okay, we'll just go in and view the certificate, and we can see that this is the certificate that we created earlier in the video demonstration. Now if we go down to the friendly name, we just want to make sure that it's the right name that we created, and it's the nycdc1.contoso.com. So we hit OK and Next. Under the summary, Next, and then it'll go through installing all of the settings. Now this will take some time, but we cheat and pause the video. So with that done, we'll close and allow it to load the data from the configuration database. Now with that done, let's go into the administrative tools. Let's go into the Windows PowerShell modules, and it'll just allow it to import the modules for Active Directory and for the other subcomponents. Okay, from there we'll get ADFS properties, and we can see the properties that are displayed. Now we can see we've got auto certificate rollover true, client cert revocation check none, display name NYCDC1, host name NYCDC1, identifier, we can see the HTTP connection. From there we'll get command *-ADFS*. We've got an error there, sorry, there should be a hyphen after get and command. And we can see a list of all of the commandlets that are available to us. With that done, let's minimize the window and we'll close out of that setup box. If we go into all programs, let's click on Internet Explorer and type in the command https://nycdc1contoso.com federation metadata 2007-6 federation metadata.xml. Now what we want to see is this open up the XML file, and we can see that it does indeed do that. Okay, so let's go back into ADFS 2, and the last thing we'll do is create a new claim type and verify that it's been successfully added to the claims list. So we'll click on Add Claim Description, and here under the display name, Favourite Colour, and we'll point it to the claim identifier of www.favoritecolour.com/claim/colour descriptions. Note, you don't have to use a URL or even a valid URL. It's just a method of providing information about what a particular claim type is and what it's being used in relation to. So into Internet Explorer, let's close down our window. In our third exercise, we'll configure ADFS 2 for internal users to access internal claims-aware applications. Now we'll begin by configuring a token sign-in certificate for NYCDC1. It's important to note that certificates cannot be modified within ADFS while automatic rollover feature is enabled. This feature determines whether or not ADFS will manage certificate expiration and their replacement with new certificates. As such, before we can modify certificates with ADFS, this feature needs to be turned off. So in PowerShell, we'll type the command set ADFS properties, auto certificate rollover, false. Then we'll type in the command get ADFS properties and make sure that that's turned off. And we can see that that's the case. From there, we'll go into ADFS 2, into certificates. From there, we'll add a token sign-in certificate. And we're going to select the NYCDC1 contoso.com. Now let's just view it to make sure it's the right one. And like before, in details, if you scroll down to the bottom, we'll just check the friendly name. So we'll go ahead and select that one. Now it says that the certificate key length isn't high enough. It could pose a security risk, but for what we're doing, it's fine. It also says we need to ensure that the private key is accessible to all FS servers. So with that done, let's go ahead and set as primary the key we've just added. And we'll make note of the warning. And we'll go ahead and delete the original key. With that done, let's expand trust relationships and claims provider trusts. Now we can see we've got Active Directory in there, so we'll edit the claim rules. And we can see we've got a number of rules in there. From there, we'll click Add Rule. And the claim rule template, we're going to send LDAP attributes as claims. For the claim rule name, outbound LDAP attribute rule. And the attribute store will select Active Directory. And for the claim type, we'll select email address. User principal name. And finally, display name. We'll select Finish and OK. With that done, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and configure the claims application to trust incoming claims by running the WIF Federation utility. So we'll go into the Federation utility wizard. We'll type in the location and the application URI. We'll click Next. We're using existing STS, Security Token Service, and add the location https nycdc1contoso.com, Federation metadata 2007-6 Federation metadata.xml. So we'll click Next, select No Encryption, Next under the offered claims, but do be aware of what's listed here. From there we'll click Finish to finish the wizard, and we can see that we're successful. Okay, so what we're going to do now is configure a relying party trust to the claims aware application. So we'll do this on the front screen. And we'll click Start on the wizard. And under Select Data Source, nycdc1contoso.com/Contoso Claims App. So we'll say Next. We'll leave the display name as WIF Sample Claims App and hit Next. We'll permit all users. We're next under Ready to Add Trust and close to finish. Now what this does is opens up the claims rules. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a rule. Under the template, we're going to go ahead and select Pass Through or Filter an Incoming Claim. And then under Next for the claim rule, Pass Through Windows Account Name rule. For the claim type, we'll select Windows Account Name and hit Finish. Let's go ahead and add rule. Again, Pass Through or Filter. Pass Through Email Address rule. Under the incoming claim type, email address, and Finish. We'll add rule. Again, Pass Through or Filter. Pass Through UPN rule. Under the claim type, we'll select UPN and select Finish. We'll add rule. Pass Through or Filter. Pass Through Name rule. Under the claim type, we'll select Name and Finish. From there we'll apply and hit OK. So back into ADFS 2, what we'll do is we'll minimize this and go into our client machine. Now the reason we're doing this is that because we wanted to test the access to the claims aware application. So under our Internet Explorer, we'll go into dc1contoso.com, Contoso Claims App. And what we need to do is we need to authenticate. So we're going to authenticate as Contoso \Axel. We'll type in the password. And we can see that Axel is indeed authenticated for the internal Claims Aware app. If we minimize, i.e., back into DC1, back into Federation Services, under the Claims Provider Trusts, under Active Directory, we're going to edit claim rules. From here, we're going to add a rule. We're going to select Send Group Membership as a claim, and in the name, send IT Admin Group Rule, and under the User Group, we'll type in the IT Admins Group. And we can see that that's now been found, so we're OK. Under the Outgoing Claim Type, we'll select Group, and under the Outgoing Claim Value, IT Admin. From there we'll select Finish and OK. So now what we'll do is we'll configure the claim rules for the claim provider trust and relying party to trust allow access for this certain group. So under the authorization rules, we're going to remove the default rule. We're going to click on Add Rule, and we're going to permit or deny based on claim, and we're going to permit IT admin group rule. So we'll select our group, and in the incoming claim value, we're going to type IT admin and make sure it's set to permit. From there, we'll select Finish. Okay, the last thing I want to do is verify restrictions and accessibility to the Claims Aware application. So let's log on as Betsy. Let's go to the URL, Contoso Claims App, and we'll authenticate as Betsy. And what we should see is that Betsy should be able to access the application. And we can see that that appears to be the case. If we try it as Aaron, again into Internet Explorer, type in the URL for the Claims Aware app, what we should see is after authenticating, Aaron is denied. And we can see that that appears to be the case too. In our last exercise, we want to configure ADFS for internal users to access a partner's Claims Aware application. So from our Miami domain controller, let's go ahead and go into Federation Services, and we'll just wait for the database to load. Under Trust Relationships, we'll click on Claims Provider Trusts, and we'll add a Claims Provider. It starts the new wizard, so we'll click on Start. Under the Federation metadata, we'll type in the URL https://nycdc1contoso.com. From there, we'll hit Next. The display name nycdc1, and then we're Next, and finish the wizard. From there, it opens up the transform rules. So we'll go ahead and we'll add a new one, pass through or filter. From there, we'll click Next. Under the rule name, pass through Windows account name rule. For the incoming claim type, we'll select Windows account name, and we're going to choose pass through all claim values. Now it comes up with a security best practice, but again, for the sake of this lab, what we're going to do is we're just going to continue. But do be aware of these warnings. From there, we'll hit OK and minimize ADFS. From there, we'll go into Administrative Tools. We'll go into Windows PowerShell and wait for the modules to load. Okay, once loaded, we'll enter the command set ADFS Claims Provider Trust, target name nycdc1.contoso.com, sign-in certificate revocation check, none. And we can see that's done. Okay, from there, what we want to do is configure a Reliant Party Trust on NYCDC1 to Woodgrove Bank's Claim Aware application. So back into DC1, back into Federation Services. Under Reliant Party Trusts, we're going to create a new trust. The wizard starts. We'll import data, and we'll import the data from miadc1woodgrovebank.com. From there, we're Next. For the name, we'll just type in Woodgrove Bank Claim App Business to Business. And we're going to permit all users. We're Next under Ready to Add Trust and close the wizard. This opens up the edit rules. So we'll add a rule. From there, we're going to add a pass through or filter. For the name, pass through Windows account name rule. Under the incoming claim type, we'll select Windows account name, and we're going to pass through all claim values. From there, we'll hit OK. Okay, so back into our client, let's verify access to the Woodgrove Bank's Claim Aware application from a Contoso user. So we'll sign into the Woodgrove Bank Claim app, And from there it'll ask us to select the organisation from the following list. In the drop down list we'll select contoso.com and we'll continue to sign in. From there it asks us for our credentials, so we'll type in contoso/Betsy. We'll type in Betsy's password and hit OK. From there we can see that we are authenticated to the partner resource.